वन्दे वीरं महावीरं वन्दे वीरं
वन्दे वीरं महावीरं वन्दे वीरं
अरिहन्तं भगवन्तं महावीरं वन्दे वीरं
अरिहन्तं भगवन्तं महावीरं वन्दे वीरं
महावीर बोलो ओ जय जय महावीर बोलो
महावीर बोलो जय जय महावीर बोलो
नाथ निरंजन महावीर बोलो पर दुख भंजन महावीर बोलो
नाथ निरंजन महावीर बोलो पर दुख भंजन महावीर बोलो
महावीर बोलो ओ जय जय महावीर बोलो
महावीर बोलो जय जय महावीर बोलो
वन्दे वीरं महावीरं वन्दे वीरं
वन्दे वीरं महावीरं वन्दे वीरं
अरिहन्तं भगवन्तं महावीरं वन्दे वीरं
अरिहन्तं भगवन्तं महावीरं वन्दे वीरं
त्रिशूलानंदन महावीर बोलो अलख निरंजन महावीर बोलो पतित पावन महावीर बोलो भव भय भंजन महावीर बोलो महावीर बोलो ओ जय जय महावीर बोलो
महावीर बोलो जय जय महावीर बोलो
महावीर बोलो ओ जय जय महावीर बोलो
महावीर बोलो जय जय महावीर बोलो
No, it is. That's crazy. Yeah. Nebraska furniture might be I appreciate.
Okay. Good night.
पारे Ashika, can we stop the music now?
Who's coming in the
Thank you.
driveway?
All right. Uh, Welcome everyone. Jai Jinendra. Um, I hope all tapasvis are in Shubh. Today is our last lecture of the English series for Paryushan 2025. And today we have the pleasure of having Palak Bhai as our speaker. So Palak Bhai is from Tattvam Mystic Foundation, and we did a couple of Swadhyay retreats in the East Coast with Tattvam in July, August. And right now they are in Seattle for Paryushan. Um and it's like been a great journey understanding or learning more about Palak Bhai's own path about how he got into the spiritual journey, being a professional back in India, and then now dedicating full time to Tattva. So with that, let me welcome Palak Bhai. And the topic for today is the mystery of five senses. I don't know if many of you got a chance to look at the document that Palak Bhai has, but a lot of pages are quite interesting. So, looking forward to learning more about the five senses from Palak Bhai.
So thank you, Priyank bhai, for the brief introduction and uh, pranam badane. Like everyone, I would just like to thank you all for joining. Also, I would like to thank Jaina and YJP for organizing this English lecture series. So we'll start with today's uh, Swadhyay or lecture with Navkar Mantra with Mangalasaran, and then we'll go ahead. So, Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Airyanam, Namo Vajjayanam, Namo Loya Sabbha Sahunam, Esho Panchanamukaro Sabbha Papa Panashano, Mangalanam Cha Sabbesim, Padmam Havai Mangalam. So it's like Paryushan time, and I think we had a lot of speakers this week whom we have already heard, and there's a lot of content that has been actually shared with us on various topics. So today we will like actually I don't know many of you basically, so we haven't met yet. So I don't know who all are listening, but still I try to just interact with all of you so that we can at least go deeper into this topic and try to understand the five senses and the mysteries behind it. So basically, it has been like since ages that we have been hearing about the five senses thing. We all know it is very commonly spoken about, and I think it is the most easiest topic that we feel, or the most easiest thing that we have studied in our childhood. Also, like whenever we go to Pathshala, the first thing that comes up is the five senses thing. And maybe in schools also we learn about the five senses thing. But I think there is a lot of hidden content. There is a lot of hidden connection between the entire descriptive subject of five senses, and also there is a lot more that is unspoken about it. So we'll try to understand some different facts and analogies for these five senses. So, I welcome you all for today's session, and we will definitely try to go in detail of each of the senses and try to understand the connection of these senses and how it can help us in our spiritual journey. That is the most important part of this entire series that YJP and Jena is organizing, that during this Paryushan Mahaparva we actually connect to our spiritual roots, and we actually understand what can be helpful for us to to be a progressive like to head on a progressive journey on our spiritual front. So yes, we will definitely start the topic today. Also, I would like to request every one of you, if there are any questions in between, yeah, definitely we can take up those questions as well. And at the end of the lecture, also we can have a quick 5-10 minutes of quest Q&A. So yeah, so basically, it is very simple. Like all the five senses, I think every one of us knows about it, and uh, like uh, many of the times we forget the names or we forget the order. So I'll just give you a very small hack to remember all of these senses and the names of it, and it is very simple. You just have to take your five fingers, like it is just like this is Sparshendriya, Rasnendriya, Dranendriya, Chakshundriya, and Shrotendriya. So the five senses are very simple to understand if you take it with the with the flow, and the order is also very interesting to understand and to remember it, because this sequence is actually very interesting also, and this sequence has a lot of deeper meaning and essence to it. So why sparsh is the first thing, why ras is the second, so basically the sequence is also very important, so we'll try to remember the sequence very nicely, so that we can understand the gist behind it in the coming few 40-45 minutes. So it is very simple. Five fingers, ras, like then taste, then smell, then chakshu, and then the ears, like the fifth one. So this is the five senses that we all actually have heard about so many times, and we know about it. And definitely, this actually becomes the outer physical world, wherein we see these five senses, or wherein we see different creatures with different types of senses as well. Like for example, if I give you suppose if there is an ant, so ant has only three senses, so there are different three senses, but these senses will always be in the order of which that we have defined. So if ant has three senses, so it will definitely have the first three senses only, not the last two. So for a human being, if it is the five senses thing, so then it is always like the fifth one, the Shrotendriya. So Shrotendriya will not be there till Chaurendriya. So the sequence is important because of this, because the Ekendriya, Beindriya, Teindriya, Chaurindriya, and Panchendriya. So all of these creatures, all of these types of creatures will have the senses in the order that we have seen. So if it is Ekendriya, it only has Sparshendriya. If it is Beindriya, then it will have Sparshendriya and Rasnendriya. If it is Teindriya, then it will have Sparshendriya, Rasnendriya, and Dranendriya. So this entire sequence becomes important, and I think in the physical world also it is very simple and very relative, because we can see all these type of creatures in and around us. And definitely all these creatures, whoever we see in our day-to-day life, we can definitely analyze them, we can definitely research about them, okay, how many senses these creatures have. I think National Geographic also, in fact Animal Planet, in fact so many books also can help us to understand what are the type of creatures with what different senses. I think majority of the scientific research has also proven that these creatures have these many senses, except for a few. Like suppose if we talk about water, so water is ekindriya. Science says that water has so many jeeves in it, but the figures that are being forecasted or showcased, these figures are the bacterial jeeves that are there in water, not the water itself. So Jain Darshan says that water itself is a body. Water itself is a jeev, and that actually makes it ekindriya. It has only one sense, that is the sparshendriya, that is the touch in it. So definitely these five senses are actually the physical aspect. If we see, then this physical aspect says about all these things, like the touch, the smell, the vision, and everything. But I think what Gnani Bhagwant, what our Acharya Bhagwan's what, Gandhar Bhagwan's what, Arihant Paramatma has also told us about these senses are, they are a connecting medium or a bridge between the inner spirit or the soul, whatever we name we can give it to it. But this inner spirit and the outer world, if we have to connect both of them, then the five senses play the very crucial role in doing this. And if we see a dead body, like, so the dead body has all the senses intact, like it has the, like all the tools intact, like it has the eyes, it has the nose, it has the tongue, everything it has. But then the spirit or the soul inside the body has gone out. So if the soul is not there, then these senses are just a physical medium or just a physical tool, but there is no connection with the inner spirit, or there is no connection, then they are of no use. And we actually don't preserve any of these senses. We just go and burn them or bury them, whatever. But the most important fact here is these senses, only in the physical term, if we consider, then they are of no use. They are useful if they are in like if they are in connection with the inner soul or the inner spirit or the chetana, whatever we say, chaitanya. So if they are along with both of them, then it makes a lot of sense, and then it makes some useful thing for the entire journey or human life or any other life, say. So basically, what have there have been so many Mahapurush in the past, like they have taught us that how senses can connect us to deeper realities of life, like just going beyond the physical perceptions, like whatever we see. So if I see something, I just register it and then I use it as a knowledge. I can actually utilize that entire concept. See, suppose I've seen some color today for the first time. So seeing that color with a physical eye actually will help me to process some information and store it within myself. So next time, whenever there is some analogy or something going around me for that color, then I can bring out this information. But this happens only if there is a connection between the physical senses and the inner spirit. So we'll try to understand this in more detail in the coming slides, like if it is a physical sense and what other kinds of senses, like in terms of shastra or in terms of scriptures, if we talk, there has been a different analogy to it. So I'll not go into that analogy, but just to introduce to the names, like Dravya Indriya and Bhav Indriya. So we always speak about things like that. So physical senses, the five senses that we talk about are the physical Dravya Indriyas that we have. But we'll talk about the next part, or the more important part. I feel that I think it has been less talked about or less conveyed. So that is the Bhav Indriya. We'll talk about that today. So just a few slides for understanding, like the names of the five senses, which is touch, taste, smell, sight, and sound. So basically, I'm like if we talk in the terms of Jain philosophy or in terms of Jain religion, so basically all these names they are mentioned in Sanskrit, like Sparshendriya, Rasnendriya, Dranendriya, Chakshundriya, and Karnendriya or Shravanendriya. But to just simplify it, we actually use the like English language, because it is in the day-to-day living that we have come up with. So basically, exact meaning of sparsh with the Indriya is little different, but for now we just dilute it to touch or taste or smell. But it's actually very important to understand these meanings with like what is Chakshu Indriya. So Chakshu and Indriya together, how do they work as a entire physical and inner spirit, and help us to decode or pursue the things around us. So we'll go into the details of this entire story today. or the entire journey today. So basically, what we have spoken about the physical senses till now. So I would just like to introduce you to the new the concept basically, which is already there. It is not new, but it might be new to most of us. The spiritual senses, the abilities that allow perception of unseen realms. Basically, every time it is not necessary that we see a particular thing or we see a particular a situation and then only we are able to perceive it. So it is like things that are already there within us. We utilize that information, we utilize them, and then we actually can perceive a lot of things. We can actually decode a lot of things. So these things that we are able to do, it is with the help of spiritual senses. So yes, definitely. I would like to give a chance, like for to every one of you. If any one of you can decode this thing, what are the spiritual senses that we talk about, or what the philosophy talks about? If anyone has an idea, then we can take it up. Otherwise, we'll get through it in the next slides. So anyone, yes. I don't know whether everyone can unmute. Okay, Avdhi Gnan. Someone has said, Anish Bhai has said Avdhi Gnan. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, someone has. Okay, Jatiya Smaran Gnan. Okay. So spiritual senses, anything more simpler to it, like we can decode it very easily. So we have talked about two things. One is the physical aspect and one is the soul aspect. So you can connect it, like the bhavindriya has to be something related to the soul. So we'll move to the next slide. I think maybe you get an answer here. So basically, what this slide is actually a little off track, but I'm just going through it in between so that we can understand the next spiritual senses part in much more detailed manner, and it would be easier for us to decode it as well. So here what we have seen is what we are trying to say is, like, from oneness to duality, how does this entire story of senses evolve, or how does we actually can connect it to our day-to-day routine. So like, spiritual beings were inward focus earlier, unified with oneness, lacking senses to perceive objectivity. So basically, the physical senses part, if we say, so physical senses always actually help us to perceive the objectivity or the things which are around us. So maybe it is a human body, or maybe it is a climatic condition, or maybe it is an object, or maybe it is an subject. So things like that, these things are actually being like or we understand these things based on the physical senses that we actually have. But these things are only like, they are not enough for us to understand everything in detail or to perceive the entire cosmos in detail. For that, we actually need something else, or something more to just decode. Because if I just know a color, that doesn't help me to decode anything about that color or to relate anything about that color. If I know something about a smell, then I don't know exactly how it is beneficial to me or how it is not. So basic agenda or the fundamental that Jain Darshan focuses on is that these senses, the physical senses, are important, but they are important just to decode things for the spiritual senses. And once the person understands these spiritual senses in detail, and the spiritual senses uh, and helps to grow the spiritual senses in a stronger way, and to develop them day by day, so he or she can definitely perceive things in much different way. It can be like, people call it inward focus, or people call it as spiritual living, or people maybe call it as conscious living, people call it as religious living, people call it as spiritual living. But the entire concept, that Jain Darshan focuses on is that if we can actually use these spiritual senses, the spiritual senses to actually decode the entire cosmos in a way that we can actually understand our position in this entire cosmos, and we can place ourselves in a place or in a state which actually helps us to be happy. So that is the whole and sole purpose of this entire journey of explaining the senses part, and it definitely can create a lot of value to our day-to-day aradhana and day-to-day routine journey as well. So we'll go into the details of it. The senses developed as a bridge to experience the outer world, enabling the soul's journey through duality. So now we have to just move from oneness to duality. That is the essence of this slide, that we have just been talking or thinking about the physical senses. How do I control the physical senses? But rather, it is important that we evolve the inner or the spiritual senses that we are going to see now, because evolving that spiritual senses will actually help us to gain in a much better way than we are doing right now. So the physical senses are definitely important. They are a medium for developing the spiritual senses, and we have to develop the spiritual senses going forward. So just a symbolic awakening here, like I have taken an example of Adam and Eve, but this is not actually any Shastra example, because there are a lot of examples in Shastras that we can take about the stories of Mahapurush, or stories of like Punya Shravak or Shalibhadraji or everyone. But I just wanted to make it a little easier for every one of us to understand. So I say that story of Adam and Eve as an awakening of sensory experience. So one, they started realizing the entire like the things around them. They started understanding each and everything around them. But then once they were together individually, when they were separate or they were apart, they were just trying to understand, they were just trying to figure out things around them. But then once they came together, this is the story that we have been told about from our childhood days and school. But when they came together, they actually uh, uh, fell for each other, and they just fell into the objectivity zone basically, and not they were not able to come out of that zone, and they actually they call it like love. But here in as per Jain Darshan, we actually say that they just stayed in the physical sense world, or the physical world that actually was created by both of them, and they just completed their life without achieving any sort of internal progress or internal journey or spiritual journey. So that is what, just a symbolic thing. So basically the entire gist of this slide is that just to perceive physical senses, to remain objective, or to just look at the things around in the physical world will actually not help us to grow further, or it will not help us uh, uh, to progress. Instead, we should definitely try to understand the duality behind these senses, how these senses are actually working. So yes, we'll go to the next slide, and I think okay. So yeah. So basically, these are the senses that we have known till date, and I think we have all been talking about the entire so there's some question. I can take it right now. What are the senses that we must master our control to attain moksha? Okay. So Apurva bhai, we'll just come to that. I think this is the slide that can help you definitely with your question. So right now we are talking about touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing. So for achieving or attaining moksha, that is the ultimate target. But then for that, you have to master all the senses. You cannot say that any one sense or any one thing will help you to attain moksha or to reach that state, or even to come to the path of moksha, basically, that also will require a clear understanding of mastering all these senses. And how do we master all these senses? So physical senses, we actually think that it is a routine. Like if I smell something good, it is a routine for me. If something tastes good, it is a routine for me, it is normal. Then why are we asking people to become abnormal or behave abnormal, that oh, you don't have to smell anything, you don't have to taste anything, you don't have to touch, or you don't have to feel any touch. So it is not the exact meaning that Jain Darshan wants to say here. So Jain Darshan has actually deeper meaning to this entire concept of senses, and that is what we have to actually decode today. So yeah, I think I have built a lot of this thing, but we'll get into the spiritual senses thing now. So here, this entire slide just shows you to uh, how are we being enslaved by touch, by taste, by smell, sight, and hearing. So it is very simple. Like if we just focus on our day-to-day life, or if we see around our day routine that we are living into. So we always feel that we should be in a comfortable temperature, we should be in a comfortable couch, we should always have touch that is comfortable, or it is physically very soothing or calming, things like that. So always like we actually crave for a touch that we would like and we would love to be in and around. Similar is with taste, smell, sight also. Like people, like we don't like to see things that are actually factual or that are real. We actually like to think see, or we actually want to see things that we want. So basically, if I want to see a color right now, then I actually will be running behind seeing that color. I want, oh, I want this color shirt only, so I'll roam around the entire store just to find the shirt of that color only. So basically, these entire physical senses, they are being objectified by our own self. Like we see this entire we use these entire senses just to perceive the objects around us, or just to judge the weather around us, or maybe just to judge the people around us by their outer structures, like the outer body. Like if someone is beautiful, oh, okay, someone is beautiful. How do we do that? So because of sight, because of smell, maybe because of touch, maybe because of hearing. If someone is very beautiful and if he starts speaking, and if we don't like the way he is speaking, he or she is speaking, if we don't like the tone, or if we don't like even the texture of the voice or anything, then we say, oh, no, no, this, I don't like this person, this person is not beautiful. Even if the even if his or her body is beautiful, but then other things like the smell, if someone smells disgusting, so we'll not like to be in the company of that person. So we just try to objectify people around us, we try to objectify things around us, we try to objectify the weather around us, all with the help of this physical senses. So actually, this slides that I have like shared, I think 3-4 days back, I have made a few changes to this slides, and I will share it across to you. But yeah, so now we'll move to the next one, and I think this is the most important one. We will try to understand the spiritual senses from now on, and we will try to decode the entire mystery behind the connection of physical and the spiritual senses. So every one of us remembers the physical senses, right? The touch, taste, smell, seeing, vision, and the hearing part. So the five senses. Now we come across the most important part, that is the spiritual sense. What is spiritual? Like we always have heard about something called as soul, something called as a physical entity, that is soul. And we always say that we have soul inside us, or we are soul. But what exactly is this soul? So our scriptures have decoded this entire mystery of soul in such a beautiful and a brilliant manner that any entity, it is known for its virtues. Like, for example, if there's water, water is known for its virtues. Like, water can hide your thirst. Water is cold, or शीतल જેને આપણે કહી શકીએ. So because of these properties, we are actually able to figure out what exactly water as a physical state, or as a physical object, what it is. So it is being identified because of its virtues, because of its properties. Similarly, if I say sugar, so what is sugar? So basically, sugar is a physical entity. So, but if someone says that, oh, I have a new kind of a sugar, I can give it to you at half the price that you get in the market. But the only thing is that it does not have sweetness. So will we buy it? No, because we are not actually looking for the physical entity, but we actually want its property intact, because we are interested in that property, in that virtue, because we, that virtue or that property is going to suffice to our need, or to our requirement. So basically, at each place, like if we take this example for any of the thing in our life, we can clearly identify that we are always actually looking for properties, we are always looking for virtues of the things around us, and not actually the things around us. So I think it might take some time, but definitely if we start thinking in this direction, we'll actually get an answer to all of these things. That, oh nahi, suppose if I have chili, so I am not actually interested in chili. I am interested in the taste that chili is giving me, or that the taste that chili actually generates. So that is the whole and sole property of the chili. If I say, suppose chai or tea as a dravya, so I am not interested in the tea black color particles that are there in the pouch. I am interested in the kind of the taste, the flavor, the smell that it can generate. The property belongs to that tea, but tea is just a physical medium, but internal properties that it carries, I am interested in those properties and not actually the tea. So here, what Mahapurush say, that soul is also a physical entity. It is a dravya. But the more interesting part to it is that it has some virtues, and we all have heard about those virtues as well. I think most of us might be knowing them. We have heard it so many times. I'll not speak the names in English. I'll take it in Gujarati only. Like the virtues like જ્ઞાન, દર્શન, ચારિત્ર, તપ, વીર્ય અને ઉપયોગ. I think most of us might have heard this entire the six virtues, or the six major virtues of the soul. So here, today we are trying to connect these physical senses and these virtues, and we'll try to understand how these virtues work as the spiritual senses for us. So let's start that entire process. I think it is going to be a little it is going to be a little difficult, but I think if we try, then we can definitely decode it. So very simple. We'll start from the last thing. So Shravan. So here Mahapurush say that whatever we are trying to hear, whatever we try to hear, so they have connected it with Gnan. Then in a, like the next one, if we see whatever we try to see, they have connected it to darshan. Then whatever we uh, smell, basically the dranendriya thing, the third sense, they have tried to connect it to the charitra, because that actually reflects the conduct. Because whatever we smell, that is the most that will be the fastest, actually the reflection or the fastest response that we will be giving out, other than any others. Like, see, suppose if I see a color red I like red color, and there is a blue color and there is a red color. So if I see blue, then it is okay. I don't react immediately. But if something I don't like to smell, and if I have that smell, so most of the times things happen like people actually start they actually start reacting so loud that अरे यार please move from here, like we don't want to be here, we don't want to be in this zone, we just want to get out of this place. So that actually reflects the conduct or the charitra gun. The next part is the Gnan Darshan Charitra Virya. uh, Gnan Darshan Charitra Tapa. Micham. So tap, we have connected it to the taste. So we are moving the reverse direction now. So tap, we are connecting it to the taste, and then touch, the last sense, we are connecting it to the virya, because the entire physical body that we have, the entire body actually has a sense of touch. It is for all the creatures, not only for us, it is for every creature, like be it a ekindriya or be it a panchendriya, but it is for every one of them. So here what we are trying to understand that uh, for example, suppose the entire body, hairs and nails, these are the two places where we say that there is no sense of touch. Like if even if I cut my nail with a nail cutter, it will not pain. But if someone uses the same nail cutter and if someone pinches my skin, then oh no, I cannot bear that because it pains. So there is a sense of touch over there. So the touch, so physical touch, it is there definitely, but then there is actually a spiritual sense also which is working behind it, and that is the entire virya thing, basically, because the virya is actually inside, like everywhere inside our body. So this analogy that we are actually trying to relate is to understand the physical and the spiritual senses. So here what Gnani Bhagwans have said is that your Gnan, Darshan, Charitra, Tapa and Virya, they are the spiritual senses which actually help you to decode or to utilize your physical senses and to connect or to be a bridge with your spiritual and the outer world. And there is one more lakshan, or there is one more property of the soul, which is the upyog. So they say that upyog basically is the part of all these physical and spiritual senses, because upyog has to be there everywhere. So even if it is listening, even if it is hearing, even if it is seeing, upyog plays a integral part in all of these activities, all the physical and the spiritual connections that we have in the name of senses. So here, in a way, apeksha thi, in a way, upyog is the most important property of a soul, because the entire spiritual journey or the entire sadhana that we do is to attain that upyog, that state wherein my upyog becomes very, very natural. It becomes in Gujarati we call it as sahaj. So it becomes very sahaj. So for example, Saib ji has been like whom I have studied with. So, Mara Param, like my Param Upkari Gurudev, Shri Nikhil Bhai, we were like in the East Coast when Priyank Bhai said that we were there and we had a couple of retreats. So, the retreats were with Saib Ji and not me. So, Saib Ji always says one very interesting fact about this entire journey, that જ્ઞાન થી લઈને ઉપયોગ સુધી ની સાધના છે. It is very simple. Okay, using your Gnan, you have to develop your Darshan. Using your Gnan and Darshan, you have to develop your Charitra. Using your Gnan, Darshan, Charitra, you have to develop your Tap. Using Gnan, Darshan, Charitra, Tap, you have to develop your Virya. And using Gnan, Darshan, Charitra and Tap, and Virya, you will develop your Upyog. And that Upyog will actually help us to live more consciously. It will help us to be in our own self, it is a practice, or it is a journey which actually can make us more happy. It can make us more real. It can make us more factual, because till date, what are we are actually living a life which is actually led by a lot of things that are going in and around us from the outer world, from the things that we perceive just using the physical senses and not the spiritual senses. So here Mahapurush says that we have to uh, using the physical senses, it is a basic requirement, definitely, but they say that we have to perceive the world in a way that we decrease the usage of the physical senses, and we increase the use of the spiritual senses in our day-to-day living. So how do we do that? So for example, if there is a situation wherein I actually see, or suppose I love penda very much, like milk penda is the favorite sweet dish that I have, or rasgulla is the favorite sweet dish that I just love to have. If someone gives me rasgulla every day, I can have it. So the physical sense in this aspect, or the taste sense, like the taste sense. So, and there is one more concept here, which is very interesting. I think we'll run out of time, so I'm not going into much detail into this. But then physical sense, suppose if we are using one physical sense, then we will actually use all of them. Like suppose there is a tasty thing, and I like the taste of that thing. So next time onwards, whenever I see that thing, that also will make me very happy. Whenever I touch that thing, that also will make me very happy, because I have a belief that the taste inside that makes me happy. So all the five senses will say, no, no, its touch will also make you happy. Its sight will also make you happy. Someone if speaks about it, like if someone just tells me, oh, I'll bring a rasgulla for you, I will be happy. So basically, all the physical senses, all of them work in tang, like in like together only. They will be a part in like the volumes can be different. Like sometimes touch is the major thing, sometimes smell is the major role game player, sometimes sight is the major thing, but then all of them will be integral together only. But what Mahapurush says, that the sadhana has to be like, uh, if I have to uh, decrease the physical sense part in my life and increase the spiritual sense part in my life, then I need to use that knowledge, vision, charitra, the conduct, everything, to overcome this physical being, or to overcome this physical senses thing, and increase my level of spiritual senses, that I can sense spiritually, not just physically. So that is the entire like the integration part that we are talking about, and this is the slide actually that we have prepared for the same thing, that conscious living, like we use senses consciously to deepen spiritual connections and presence in everyday activity. So this will not happen only if I say that, oh, okay, I have understood that physical senses are not important and spiritual senses are important, so I'll just think about the spiritual senses. So no, it will not happen that way, because anything we have to perceive, we have to do it with the physical help of spiritual and physical both right now, because we are not in a state that we can move only based on the spiritual senses. We are in a state that we have to actually take help of physical senses also, but to build a spiritual sense which is wider, which is broader, and which is more stronger. So that is the entire storyline, or the bottom line of today's today's session. And I think we can definitely do it with practice in our day-to-day life. So definitely if we learn to integrate this in our day-to-day living, so if we try to like just write down a few things, like every day, like in the morning, if I just start writing down, oh, okay, what I am going to do today, or maybe in the evening when we come back from the work, what I have done today already, and why was it, for which sense it was it, and which sense played the major role in this entire journey of me doing this thing. So definitely you will find a lot of pointers for your own self that you can actually write in there. Oh, okay, I just choose this dish over this dish in my lunch. Okay. Oh, I wanted to order. Someone was with we were like on a dinner or we were on a lunch, and I had an option to order this thing, and I ordered this thing because I actually like this thing over this thing. Oh, okay. So why is that comparison? Why I like this thing over this thing? Because both can fill my stomach, both can suffice my vitamin need, both can suffice my mineral need, both can suffice my actual physical needs. But then why do I choose this over this? Okay, so now what happens is you have started using your spiritual sense, your gnan, your darshan, your charitra, your tap, your virya, and using these five things, you are moving into a upyog state wherein you actually start questioning these physical senses. So this is what we actually can do in our day-to-day life. It can be an activity for us. Oh, why did I order this dish? Oh, okay, I like this dish. Why do I like this dish? Oh, this is the taste that actually this dish carries, and I like this taste. Oh, why do I like this taste? Uh, uh, oh, okay. You will actually start getting answers to your own questions like, okay, so I have developed this taste in so many days. I have developed this state this time, or maybe this has made me develop this taste. This incident had made me develop this state or taste, but I think, oh, okay, no, I can overcome that. So then your spiritual sense actually can become a more stronger weapon to actually help you overcome this entire physical sense thing. Divine recognition, recognize the divine in every sensory experience. So basically, this just means that we can take help of the divine that we worship every day. Maybe once we go to once we do samaik, or we do daily jin puja, maybe, or we just see an idol of a god, or we just see a frame of a god, or we just have a wallpaper on our phone which has a frame of god. So anything like that. So definitely we again try to recollect and just recognize that, oh, okay, this experience that I have when I'm with you, that is actually more of a spiritual sense and not my physical sense. But if there is if we go to a temple also, and if we go to a temple and there also if we feel, oh no, I like this dhoop, I like this smell, then again you are stuck with and again we are stuck with the physical sense part, and we actually are not utilizing the spiritual sense over there. So this can be a day-to-day routine wherein we can start identifying what is physical sense driven and what is spiritual sense driven. Or maybe you can put it this way also, that like, this is my physical sense driven, but how do I add spiritual sense value more to this, so that the physical sense part becomes lesser and lesser day by day, and the spiritual sense part increases more and more day by day. So that can be a practice that we actually can do every day. Spiritual tools embrace the senses as tools. I think, yeah, we have already gone through this thing. So we'll move to the next slide. I think we are towards the conclusion, but the entire concept that we have tried to understand today is just it is very like short presentation, or it is very a short aspect that we have talked about. But this topic, the Dravya Indriya and Bhav Indriya thing, is so detailed in Jain philosophy that actually it is worth studying, and it helps us to overcome a lot of things in our day-to-day perception, in our day-to-day life. Because whenever we see anything around us, we get that question, oh, okay, this is my physical sense driven thing, or this is my spiritual sense driven thing. So definitely it always always helps you to ask questions to your own self and get answers for your own self. So it becomes a part of your daily routine and it becomes a part of your daily sadhana, which actually leads you to more upyog, like which actually leads you to the upyog where we start thinking in a direction which is more sacred, which is more spiritual, and which actually helps us to define our own goals that we have to achieve in this spiritual journey. So yeah, this actually was entirely a short presentation for the mystery of senses. There are a lot of other mysteries to these senses as well. So we have just spoken of a very small aspect of this mystery today, but there are, I think, lot of other mysteries as well. So definitely it is worth studying more about these senses in detailed manner, and I think definitely it can add a lot of value to our day-to-day life. So key takeaways from today will be like, I think we have to remember the names of the senses. It is very important and it is very easy also. Sparsh, Ras, Granendriya, Chakshundriya, and Shrotendriya. And then if we check Gnan, Darshan, Charitra, Tapa, Virya, Upyog, Chhatto, Virya, Tapa, Virya, and Upyog. So it is very easy if we can try to connect each of them with the virtues of the soul, the spiritual senses that we carry with our own self. Definitely it can become a bridge between our spiritual journey and the physical journey or the worldly journey that we are living into. Yeah. So thank you so much. I hope it has been useful to everyone. And I hope to meet you in person someday. Definitely, we would like to engage with every one of you, because staying in the US, you guys are actually doing really, really well, trying to understand the Jain philosophy, trying to understand the tattva behind it. So I think, yeah, it is very,
That
very
photo
commendable.
नहीं है
Every, yeah. So, any questions further? So we can take up. We just have 4 to 5 minutes left. So, any other questions from anyone? Then we can take it up. Yeah.
Yeah, Purva here. Thank you very much.
I think the voice is
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's the background.
okay. Who is it
Small
speaking?
question.
Yeah.
So you said we have to be aware of what senses we should use. Uh, can you give us a little bit of an idea of what has worked for you and maybe your best practice?
Oh, yes, definitely. So, I was like, every one of us actually, like, this has been a very a statement that is used by every one of us nowadays. Like, if people also write it in their resumes that I am a foodie. I I think most of us use this statement just to boost our own self. Oh, like saying that I will prove myself that, oh, I love food and I have had so many cuisines, I've tried so many places, this, that, things like that. So I was from the same background. Yeah. So I also used to boost about myself. Oh, I am a foodie. I just love to have
People
food,
are
new
different.
dishes,
Yeah,
and
maybe
things like
only
that. But then
experiment
once
yeah.
this entire practice started of understanding the physical and the spiritual senses, and I understood that this taste thing is making me so dependent on it that actually I am always in the urge of searching for good taste, always in the urge of searching for things that I love to eat or I just love to taste. So that actually started the journey, and then slowly and slowly I started to like not doing tap or something, but then I started to refrain from a few things, like I will not have additional sugar in any of the things. As it is served, it's okay, I can have it. It is sufficing the the need of my body, it is sufficing the requirement of my body. Sugar is not going to add any value to it, it is just adding a taste to it. And I started the same practice with salt also. So believe me guys, like doing an ekasana or doing an meal also is easier. But if you try to have your one meal, like just try it out someday. Like Saibji always says કે એક એવું એકાશનું કરવા જેવું છે કે you have to just skip three things like sweet, like sugar, salt, and gourd. uh, these three things, like if you start avoiding these things, so without salt, if you start eating, though you realize, oh, how much I am dependent on the taste thing and how much it is like troubling me. So then you actually start questioning your own self and you just start answering your own self. That was the journey that I have went through, and it has been really a nice experience till now. And it is all because of the divine blessings of Sahibji Shenikil Bhai. And I think he has added a lot of value to so many youngsters to help them understand Jin Vachan in a very practical and a logical manner. So yeah, definitely it has helped me also. So I think it and actually it is the power of Jin Vachan. Really believe me that if someone tries to understand Jin Vachan, and if seriously and in a disciplined manner, he or she gives time to understand Jin Vachan, definitely it can transform life in a very smooth manner. It is so easy, I feel.
Thank you. Yeah.
So yes, I think we are towards the end of today's session. Any more questions? Priyank bhai, I'll just share the latest PPT with you so that you can upload it on the site if someone wants to refer, because I have made some few changes to this entire thing.
Yeah. Definitely, we'll do that.
Yes.
That's going to be
Yes.
helpful. No, I think it's great, Palak bhai. Thanks a lot. This was like a little bit of a new thing for me also, the way you connected the two, the physical and the spiritual senses. And I'm sure that a lot of us learned a bunch and have a lot to reflect on and think about. So yeah, it was great having you. And also to everyone else on the call, again, thanks a lot for being part of the lecture series. And post Paryushan, we are planning to do at least like one session a month, and we'll try to do two sessions every month. But we have a few speakers in mind. But I'd also encourage, if any of you who have been attending regularly, if you also want to speak about any topic, please let either Rupali or me or Manan or anyone else in YJP know, and we can set up those sessions. But the idea is that we continue learning, we continue exploring all the different aspects and topics that Jain philosophy has. And I am sure with each other's push and support, we will all be able to learn more and imbibe more in our life. So, with that, I can't say see you tomorrow this time, but have a great Samvatsari and Michami Dukram, and yeah, I'll like see you in some later session. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
So
you,
thank you
Mr.
so much,
Vidukram.
Priyank bhai. Thank you so much, YJP, for giving me this opportunity. So, Jinagna Virud Kaipan Kevayo to Michami Dukram, Sarva Mangal Mangalam Sarva Kalyana Karanam Pradhanam Sarva Dharmanam Jainam Jayati Shastanam. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you.